My son asked me at dinner, "Why does Daddy cry in the garage every night after you go to bed?" I froze right there when William blurted that out. Derek stopped mid-bite and stared at our 6-year-old, then shot me a quick look. He asked William what he was talking about, trying to sound relaxed even though his fork hung in the air. "I saw you," William said. "Last night and the night before. I got up to pee and looked out my window. You were sitting in your car with the inside light on." Derek told him he was just sorting things out and sometimes needed quiet time to think about work, messing up William's hair to make him laugh. William seemed fine with that answer and reached for more ketchup. The conversation drifted to his soccer game on Saturday. Through the whole meal, Derek never once met my eyes. That night, I pretended to fall asleep early. Around midnight, I heard him slip out of bed. I waited a few minutes before heading downstairs and peeking through the kitchen window, facing the garage. Sure enough, Derek sat in his car, leaning over the wheel like the weight of the world was on him. The next morning at breakfast, with William at school and Derek already gone, I opened his laptop even though I'd never done that before. His browser history was normal, just emails and sports pages. On Thursday, I drove to his office during lunch. The receptionist, Sophie, looked surprised to see me. She said Derek had stepped out with his team to celebrate the Wilson contract. When I asked about it, her smile faded. She said it was the huge project he'd spent months on, the one keeping him late all those nights. That didn't add up, since he'd been home for dinner every evening. I made up a reason to leave and walked out. Later that day, I called my friend Lucy while driving to get William from soccer. I told her about everything, including how William had seen him crying and how he dodged every question. Lucy thought it might be job pressure, but when I mentioned he told his office he'd been working late when he hadn't, she admitted that was strange. She asked if I thought he was hiding something. After picking up William, I took him to his favorite burger spot and checked our joint bank account on my phone while he ate. Nothing weird. No hotel charges, nothing out of place. On Friday night, Derek suggested dropping William at his parents' for the weekend, saying we hadn't had time alone in forever. After leaving William Saturday morning, we drove back quietly. In the driveway, he asked if we could take a drive. We ended up at the cemetery, just outside town. He parked near a little garden and walked to a bench by the water. I followed, more confused than ever. "My brother would have been 43 today," he said softly. I asked Derek about this brother, pointing out he didn't have one. Derek kept looking out at the water while telling me about Clarence, who passed away when Derek was 12. He described how Clarence drowned at their lake house, while Derek was supposed to keep an eye on him. I sat beside him, speechless. In 10 years of marriage, he'd never mentioned a brother. Derek said his parents never blamed him, but they also never brought Clarence up again. It felt like his brother vanished twice, first when he died, and then when the family acted like he'd never been there. When I asked why he never told me, Derek said we met after his mom had passed, and his dad was already gone. No one else was alive who remembered Clarence, which made it easier to act like he hadn't existed. But when William turned 6 last month, the same age Clarence was when he died, everything hit him again. When I brought up the garage, Derek admitted he'd found a box of pictures in his dad's storage unit. He'd been going through them at night, unable to show me or figure out how to talk about it. On Sunday afternoon, Derek carried the box inside. We laid out the decades-old photos all over our living room floor. William came home from his grandparents and sat with us, pointing at the happy kid who looked like Daddy. Derek told him it was his Uncle Clarence and that he would have loved him. That night, I heard